Welcome back to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. It's been 3 months since I did a video about Rust and Alec Baldwin, but some very interesting news came up today, so it was time to do another one. Because Alec Baldwin and the Rust armorer have both been charged with involuntary manslaughter, which is pretty serious if you ask me. I wasn't expecting that, but they are clearly investigating this case, and now actual criminal charges have finally been filed. Alec Baldwin and the armorer on the set of Rust will be charged with involuntary manslaughter in the death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins in October 2021. Baldwin fired the shot that killed Hutchins while preparing to film a scene in the church building of the Bonanza Creek Ranch near Santa Fe, New Mexico. The armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, loaded the weapon. Mary Carmack-Altwies, the first judicial district attorney in Santa Fe, announced the charges in a statement on Thursday. Baldwin and Gutierrez Reed each face 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, which each carry a maximum sentence of 18 months in jail. They will also be charged with enhancements for use of a firearm, which carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years. Now that would really be something if Alec Baldwin is actually found guilty and ends up having to spend 5 years in prison. Wow, that would really be serious, and certainly not what you would expect for an A-list star, would you? This was really such a badly done movie. I'm really still shocked to this day that this accident happened. How could they allow such lax safety to be going on this set? How could they have this woman, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, handling 2 different jobs? If she was trying to manage the props and make sure that all the guns were only loaded with blanks and, trying to account for all of that, she was clearly either insufficiently trained to be able to do something like that, or she was just overwhelmed. Possibly both. So, this was a really bad decision. And Alec Baldwin is one of the producers of the film. So, yeah, I think that this is kind of deserved in this situation. The prosecutor also announced that David Halls, the film's first assistant director, has agreed to plead guilty to a charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon. Halls handed the loaded Colt 45 to Baldwin. Under the plea agreement, Halls will be given 6 months of probation, but will not serve jail time. Quote, if any of these 3 people, Alec Baldwin, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, or David Halls, had done their job, Halyna Hutchins would be alive today, unquote, said Andrea Reeb, the special prosecutor appointed by Carmack-Altwies to oversee the case. Quote, it's that simple. The evidence clearly shows a pattern of criminal disregard for safety on the Rust film set. In New Mexico, there is no room for film sets that don't take our state's commitment to gun safety and public safety seriously, unquote. And that's really my take on what happened after reading several different articles about this and all the different interviews with different people who'd been working on that set, many of which who left because they didn't want to be involved because it was too unsafe for them. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to be there knowing that there was such lax handling of firearms occurring, and these were loaded weapons. You're supposed to treat every round as if it's a live round, is my understanding. So this was very, very poorly handled, this whole situation. Gutierrez Reed was way out of her league. They should have had somebody far more experienced handling all the firearms on that set. Baldwin has said that Halls told him the weapon was Colt, meaning it contained only dummy rounds. But investigators found that the gun was loaded with 1 live bullet, which went through Hutchins' torso and lodged in the shoulder of director Joel Sousa. Hutchins was airlifted to a hospital in Albuquerque, where she was pronounced dead later that day. Brian Panish, the attorney for Hutchins' widower and son, issued a statement Thursday on behalf of the family expressing support for the charges. Quote, we want to thank the Santa Fe Sheriff and the District Attorney for concluding their thorough investigation and determining the charges for involuntary manslaughter are warranted for the killing of Halyna Hutchins with conscious disregard for human life, Panish said. Our independent investigation also supports charges are warranted. It is a comfort to the family that in New Mexico, no one is above the law. We support the charges, will fully cooperate with this prosecution, and fervently hope the justice system works to protect the public and hold accountable those who break the law, unquote. Yeah, I'm sure that Halyna Hutchins' surviving family members are very ecstatic knowing that charges have finally been filed. I mean, it's taken well over a year. This has been a very lengthy investigation. But given what a mess it was on that set, they still don't even know how the live rounds made it onto the set of Rust. That's still something that's coming under question, but who knows, maybe something about that will pop up if this goes to trial. We'll just have to wait and see. Baldwin has repeatedly argued that he is not to blame for the incident. Well, he was the one holding the gun when it fired, so it's really kind of hard to pass the blame on to everyone else if you didn't bother checking it yourself, because I don't believe he did. He was relying on other people, and clearly the armorer was not sufficiently experienced in this situation, and look at what happened. What a disaster. His attorneys have alleged that Halls, Gutierrez Reed, and 2 others were at fault for a chain of missteps that led to the shooting. Well, he clearly was poorly trained in the handling of firearms. That is something I have completely believed the whole time. I mean, you don't just hold a gun. You certainly don't just point it at someone and pull the hammer back. I mean, that's just really, really, really stupid. Luke Nikas, Baldwin's attorney, said in a statement on Thursday that the decision, quote, distorts Halyna Hutchins' tragic death and represents a terrible miscarriage of justice, unquote. Well, I don't think that's how her family feels about it, but he's going to do anything he can to try and get his client off because that's what he's paid to do. He's a defense attorney. And of course, Gutierrez Reed's attorneys have said basically similar things. Hall's attorney, Lisa Tarraco, said in an email that the plea agreement will allow him to put the matter behind him. Quote, absent no charges at all, this is the best outcome for Mr. Halls. He can now put this matter behind him and allow the focus of this tragedy to be on the shooting victims and changing the industry so this type of accident will never happen again. And of course, nothing has been done. There have not been any changes. We don't want to hear about another shooting on a film set. Nobody wants that. So, yeah, I mean, this was just a very tragic situation, and I really, really hope that some sort of good will eventually come out of this. I feel really bad for Halyna Hutchins' family. If Alec Baldwin and or the armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed are found guilty of manslaughter in some way, well, I'm sure that Halyna Hutchins' family will be quite happy about that. But it really does make me question whether or not this movie is ever going to be completed. Which if it is, I still have no intention of ever seeing it. Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, and please feel free to share a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please press the red subscribe button, and please press the bell to receive notifications for new content. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.